So far we have this existing database, which is the registration table, and under the registration table we are going to use these two fields. One is your password field and one is your email field. So this email field we will use as our ID, okay, and the password field we will use as the password. The process we're going to learn today is we're actually going to create the login pages. So in the past we have created the registration, means we get people registering, inserting their values and getting registered in our database. Once they register, the values are in the database, but then what do we do with those values? Okay, in functional websites, normally what people do is they provide them a login ID and password so that in future they can log in to their website, and after they log in they can see their existing records, they can amend their contact details, or they can get access to specialized web pages. So certain pages in your website you can keep restricted, means the hyperlink for those pages you will not show it commonly available. Okay, those pages will be only available when someone actually logs in to the website. Or in e-commerce, you create login IDs and passwords so that they can actually log in first to show the authenticity of the user, and then they can only buy the products. Normally, even Amazon, eBay, you cannot buy anything unless you're a registered member, unless you're an authorized person who registered. So this is what we're going to do. First, we got a registration ready. Now in our database, we got the values and records stored. And now here, I've just created a template pages for you in Dreamweaver. So I'll show you those pages right now. In a browser, you can see the preview. I'm just creating simple heading called login to check registered members of eShop. Because if you want to see how many people are registered in my website, you have to first log in. And you can't log in if you don't have ID and password. You know? So I've got this simple page here. Now in this page, I've just created a simple form with a heading, a login ID and a password text field, and a login to eShop button. Okay, we all know how to create forms like this. Now here, I'm just going to add another link here. Maybe another link called H4 or something. If not registered, then click here. Okay, and this particular text we can actually convert into the hyperlink, and we can actually connect it with registration page. So registration dash form. Okay, let me save this page. This is my login.php page. As you can see here, the top one, this is my login page. Now you can use login ID and password straight away if you are already registered. If you're not, I'm providing you the link here. Now if you click on this link, it will direct you to the registration page of my website, which is this. This is our previous lesson. So we're giving the chance to users who are not registered to please go and register yourself. But if you're already registered, as we have 2 records already in my database, I'm going to use one of those records. Like I've got Kathleen and James Bond, so we can use any of this email ID and password to check for a while. So the story is, now we got 3 pages. The first page is the login page, which will ask ID and password. Then we have login failed.php page. Means if you type login ID and password and if it goes wrong, you should give another information to the user saying either ID or password is incorrect. So please try again. For that purpose, you can see I've created a login dash failed, exactly save as copy of the login page. So everything else will be there as it is. The only use of login failed is it will show the message saying sorry, login failed. Please retry with correct ID and password. Okay, so they have to type ID and password again. And once they type that and everything in matches, we will show a restricted page called update.php. In this page, I'm simply going to type here, let's say, welcome. I'm formatting it to heading 2. Now here, welcome, I want to type the name of a person who actually logs in. Normally, when you log into your email accounts, you get your personalized information. So here also, the person, whatever ID password he used, from his record, we have to take that person's name. And that name we should display here. Okay. Now how to do this update page as well as login, that's what we're going to learn. First things first, let me show you the login page. Now I've got this login page. We have to use similar interface panels, which is database, bindings, and server behaviors. Okay. The first things first, I have the connection ready. eShop connection. Just a revision for those who wasn't here. We simply click on MySQL plus sign, and then we add these 4 details. Right? We write database. Username we type normally root. Server name we write localhost. Connection name anything you like. And the password is, again, we leave blank. Okay. The last thing you should select is database, whichever database you have created. And we test our connection and it says successful. So very simple process. Without the connection in your Dreamweaver, nothing will work. So my connection is already there because we've done that in last lesson. I don't have to do anything right now. eShop connection is there. I'm going to server behaviors. In server behavior, it will ask you to make sure these 3 ticks are there. Site, document type is PHP, and testing server is already defined because we are working within the site. So this information will be already there. If not, just quickly define it. Now, once we have these 3 information, I'm going to click on the plus sign. And on Wednesday, I've explained you how we can use insert record to add the values to the database. Today, let's see creating user authentication. And from that, we can use login user. Okay, very, very simple process. We got the connection ready. Now from the server behavior tab, we go to plus sign, we go to user authentication, and we select login user. When we select that, it will ask you what should be the form you want to use. Now this is my login form. I didn't change the form name, so it's taking by default form 1. Username field is this login ID field. Password field is this password text field. Validate using connection. Now which connection you're going to use? The existing eShop. So if you drop down, it will show you the list of connections you have in your Dreamweaver. Okay, you can select eShop connection. It automatically goes to that database now. Okay, from the database, this is the table. And what do you want to use as your user ID and password? I've explained you that we're going to use email addresses as the user IDs and password as our password. So if I'll go back to Dreamweaver, I want to use username column is the email column and the password column is the password column. That's the only information you have to see. You have to make sure you assign correct columns for username and password. Okay. Now, once we assign that, if login succeeds, go to which page? I'm going to browse and I'm going to go to the update page because on this page we will show some records, right? So if I'll say use update as my login page And if login fails, go to login failed page, right? Very, very simple process. There's not much you have to do in here. You have to just mention the restrict access for this page using ID and password. Is fair enough. And that's all. Okay. With this basic information which we feed, we just say OK. And under the server behaviors, you can see the login user feature has been added. Right. Now, let me go and save this page. And if I'll go to preview this page in a browser, this is my login page, which has that feature added. Now let me test my login page. So the user ID we are going to use is cat@elat.org. So I'm going to use that ID. And the password is Rambo123. I did not change the text field type in Dreamweaver, so that's why you can see the password. But generally, you should change the field. Log into eShop. Done. Now I'm actually logged in. This is the update page. You can see that. Simple. If I'll go back and try a different password, sorry, it fails. If I type the correct ID and password, now on the login failed page, we haven't done the connection. That's why it is giving error. So for the login failed page, I have to do the same process under the server behaviors. Okay, I'm going to quickly go and add login user here as well. eShop connection, ID as email, use password. If successful, go to update. If fail, the login failed. Very simple. Okay, save it and check. So now you can actually log in from the login failed page as well. Earlier, the connection wasn't established here. So I can use same ID, I can use same password and log in. So literally, you just have to create a simple form with login ID and password text field, button, and under the record set, just mention those user authentication option, and that's all. Now the next stage is, once they log in, update page should show welcome to whatever the name of the person who logged in, correct? So if I'll go back to my database, I should actually use fname column, and whatever value is under fname, that we can use to display next to the welcome. So if I'm using Kathleen as ID password, then the browser should show welcome Kathleen. Because now, what to show next to welcome, we can actually connect that dynamically with the fname column. Now doing this is also very simple. All we have to do now is we have to go back to Dreamweaver. This is my update page, right? Now, so far, I've explained to you earlier how to do the insert record, right? We have seen the login section as well now. And both of these things are actually embedded within your server behavior tab. All right. The next thing is also inside server behavior. So that is we are going to use to create the record set. You can see the record set has been here as well. So let me just close this down. Whenever you want to bring the values from database into the browser, we have to use this third option called record set. So what I'm going to do is, under the update page, all these three things are defined. So again, nothing to do. We simply go to record set. Earlier, we have used insert record and user authentication. Now, we're going to use the first option called the record set. When you click on record set, again, nothing much to do. simply select that. Dreamweaver will select everything. It will select the record set name. By default, you can type, you keep the same as it is, or just type your name. It takes the connection, it takes the table, it takes all the columns. Done. Okay, you only do this. Just say okay. The way we create connection, here we have created now a record set. Now, if I go to the binding session, this is the third column we are to use. Under the bindings, it shows me the list of all the 4 columns I have in my database: ID, fname, password, and email. Next to welcome, whichever dynamic field I want to show, I can literally drag and drop any column I want and keep it next to welcome. So in this case, I'm just going to see welcome. My cursor is there. Use fname as a column, drag it, drop it here, and a dynamic PHP code appears there. Okay. Now in design view, this is how it's going to look. But when it goes to the browser will show you the actual values of the database dynamically. So if I'll just save this right now, and let's just test everything from the login page itself. Okay. So I'm going to save and preview the login page. Use cat, password, login. Which field has taken? Why is showing the Rob James Bond here? Let's just check that. What happened here? Update page. Let me do the record set again. Yeah, let me just remove this record set from server behavior. And that's my update page. Right. For this page, let's just do the record set with record set 1, 2, eShop connection. Let's just test it. It shows all the database values here. And from bindings, we can just pick fname. Let me save this. Save the login page. Oh, let me try an Explorer. So cat at elad.org, Rambo123. Well, yeah. So by, I don't know what default. Let me just try a different database value. Password is chance123. So it's not taking second record. Let me figure this out, what's going on. But this is a process to follow. I will stop the recording for a while.